Welcome to another episode of Lift, Lighten, and Lead with Legacy Contracts. Whether this is your first time listening or you're returning for more, we're very glad you're here. This is a space for attorneys who want more than just efficiency. You want clarity, purpose, and lasting impact in the way that you practice law, serve your clients, and lead your firm. Our mission on this platform is simple: to lift the burden, lighten the load, and help you lead with clarity. Through practical insights, thoughtful guidance, and honest conversations, we explore what it truly takes to build not just a better firm, but a better way to work. If that's the kind of growth that you're seeking, you're in the right place. So today's topic is from our blog titled "When Your Calendar Becomes the Enemy: The Operational Triggers Behind Attorney Burnout." So as we wrap up for 2025 with literally like a week and a half left of December, we want to start looking at and focusing on how we want to enter into the new year and consistently work through that year with little to no burnout if possible. So one of the ways that we can get started on that journey is by taking an honest look at our operations and more specifically looking at our calendaring. So we'll start this by defining what burnout is for anyone who may not have heard the term or doesn't really know what the definition is. And then we'll talk about some operational triggers, and then we'll have reflection questions at the end and, close out the segment with that. So according to the World Health Organization, and we'll include the blog title or at least the blog link at the end. So, for those who are interested can read the full thing. But the World Health Organization in 2019 defined burnout as a syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. And they list a bunch of characteristics and other dimensions in there of you can feel depleted or exhausted. You have mental or increased mental distance. You feel a lot of negativity or cynicism, the list goes on. But we'll put the link below in case anybody's interested in reading the full thing. So this all in all pretty much just means that burnout isn't just about the volume of work, but it can also come from carrying the entire operational load on a consistent basis. So 4 operational triggers that we do mention in our blog post in regards to calendaring that can lead to potential burnout are as follows: reactive scheduling, undefined boundaries, poor workflow visibility, or too much attorney work that really isn't like attorney work. It can essentially be delegated. So if you see yourself in any of these 4 potential triggers, the good news is that first step of change is having that awareness, so you are on the right track. Essentially, at the end of every year, the scheduling gets pretty hectic. A lot of law firms and pretty much business owners all over the country and even all over the world are trying to close out their cases, make their deadlines, hit their goals, and try to ensure that they have the revenue that they had projected by the end of the year and so on. But it is important to keep in mind that while all this is happening, to not let your calendar essentially become either like your enemy or feel like it's punishing you. I actually had one of these instances happened today where I had an attorney who he gets really, really hectic scheduling pretty much all throughout the year. But the end of the year is literally insane. Like looking at his calendar, it's quite literally insane. And he actually sent me a message this morning and was pretty much just like, hey, can we figure out how to make this meeting a little bit longer? And I told him hey, when I was scheduling this for you, I was doing this in order to give you appropriate time between meetings. You have 3, 4, 5 different meetings today. Or on whatever day it was. I think it was Friday. And so I was letting him know hey, the meetings that were scheduled were to give you enough time to rest and recuperate in between meetings. If you want to have them back to back, by all means. But I think, we kind of figured it out of how to allow him to have the meetings, but to also give himself an appropriate time. And for him, he just kind of gets in mind of wanting to make sure he's answering all of his clients and taking care of them appropriately. And I'm hey, by all means. But that also comes with taking care of yourself as well. You're not last on the list of all the things you have to do in the day. You should be top priority. And so with that being said, I know a lot of attorneys kind of feel that way when you are clocked into work, or even when you're taking care of your own clients. You want to make sure that you're taking care of whatever it is that they need, but you're doing that with proper boundaries in place. So tying all of this into the operational triggers really means taking a step to look at the 4 triggers that we mentioned from our blog post and previously, and really evaluating your schedule, your clients, your day-to-day basis, and trying to get to the foundation or the underlying root issue or cause of what may be triggering you on a day-to-day basis. With your reactive scheduling, what causes you to be reactive? Is there, any kind of specific client that may come with a bunch of fires every single day, and you want to really look at how to establish better boundaries? And then leading into number 2 with undefined boundaries, do you do you have a lot of things that you want to put into your scheduling or into your day-to-day that would protect you from getting to a place of burnout? Number three would be, your poor workflows. Is there any workflows or anything that you can automate, anything you need to work on where it's like, hey, I do this on a daily basis. I need to figure out how to automate this or how to pass this to somebody else who can do this. And then that also leads into number four, where you have too much quote unquote attorney work that really isn't attorney work, and then that means figuring out what you can delegate, what you can automate, what you can pass on to, pretty much anybody else. Or you can just kind of go back and say, hey, you know what, I've been doing this and I don't really want to do this anymore. This is not in my scope. I've just been doing this just because, and going about it that way. So we want to end this segment with discussing 3 reflection questions, and we will have these in the show notes for you just to kind of help you get a starting place of defining where within the calendaring aspect can you start to really navigate through it and work through it to make sure that you're not burning yourself out and you're not avoiding it or dreading, your calendar essentially. So the first question is, which calendar blocks cause the most stress? The second one, what recurring tasks can be delegated or automated? And the third question is, where can clearer standards reduce interruptions? So once you're able to kind of work through that and process that and work on restructuring that capacity, then your calendar can become a lot more predictable instead of something that you either avoid or feel like is punishing you. So you don't have to start with all the reflection questions at once. You can work on it. You give yourself 3 weeks to process through all 3 questions, or, take it in a couple of days' time or whatever else have you. But choose one area where your calendar feels too tight and ask yourself, is this an emotional problem or an operational one? And then that will kind of allow you to also dig deeper to recognize if you are reacting to your schedule or if it's an actual operational issue. So if today's concept resonated with you, you can read our full blog on our website, or you can listen to the AI audio version of the blog on our YouTube channel. But here on this podcast, we'll delve deeper, exploring the concepts, culture, and practices that help you build with clarity through calm. We hope today's insights help you practice with more calm, confidence, and clarity. Remember, law firms aren't built overnight. They're built every day you choose to grow. This is Legacy Contracts, and until next time, keep leading with clarity.